I'm Joel Rosenthal, president of the Carnegie Council. For almost 100 years, the Council has been the voice for ethics in international affairs. This month, please give to our annual fund drive. To donate now, please press the pause button. After you give, you'll return to this video. Thanks for your support.
One of the judgments implicit that many politicians may well have made over this time is, what do people care about? If we can't give them incomes, perhaps we can give them consumption. How do we give them consumption? Credit growth often, and again I appeal to emerging markets, is the way you expand consumption. Okay? How do you get credit growth? Well, the tools that the government had, either directly under it or that it could influence, was housing credit. And so you had this massive push towards housing credit, both from the Clinton administration and the Bush administration. This was a bipartisan effort. It was a bipartisan effort which had no opposition from the Democrats, because clearly it was sending money towards their preferred constituency and creating homes. Who could object against homes and wider home ownership? And for the Republicans, they felt they were building new constituents, property owners, homeowners, and of course home ownership was a good thing in society. So the one thing that the Village Voice suggests the Clinton administration, the Bush administration agreed on was home ownership, and they pushed it massively with massive infusions of money. But there were other instruments that were used. Interestingly, many of these instruments were created to deal with the mess in the Depression and gave the government the entryway into housing. The Community Reinvestment Act was applied and enforced for the first time in the 90s. It's, of course, the 70s Act, which wasn't enforced. The Federal Housing Administration reduced its lending standards, sent more money. A wall of money went towards low-income housing. I say this is important because it's hard to imagine that the private sector suddenly woke up one day and had a social conscience and said, we have to finance low-income housing. Why it did that, why so much money went that way, was because this was fundamentally good intentions on the part of the government. We want more home ownership, but done in a way which actually created massive distortions in the financial sector.